Hello everyone, I am Dr. Nitin Kumar Saxena. In this video, we are going to discuss how can we apply a mesh analysis to any electric circuit. We will go through the steps through which you will get a method through which you can solve any electric circuit using mesh analysis. And once you complete this problem, which I am going to discuss in this video, you can go for any complex electric circuit and you can apply this mesh analysis. So let's see the objective of this video. The objective is solve the given DC circuit using mesh analysis. Once we apply this mesh analysis, we can get the resistance, the value of the current across any resistance, and also the voltage across any resistance. So the outcome would be we can identify by this mesh analysis first what are the mesh current, and once we know the mesh current values, we can get what is the value which is going to any resistance and what is the value of voltage across any resistance. So let's see how can we begin this mesh analysis method. For this, what we do, the first step is to identify the number of mesh. So mesh is the smallest loop or closed loop in which no further loop is possible. So if we see the circuit, we can see here, this is our mesh 1 and this one is our mesh 2. So this is our first step to identify the meshes, number of meshes for our circuit. In step 2, show the mesh current in identified meshes. So as I have seen, we have two meshes. So in next step, we will show the current in mesh 1 and the current in mesh 2. We can choose the current direction either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So or both are possible, but I am taking here as a flow of current is clockwise. Now in next step, which is step 3, for from mesh current show the current at every resistance. So you can see this current is flowing in mesh 1 something like this, and this current I2 is flowing in this mesh like this. So now by the direction of current I1 and by the direction of current I2, we will try to find the current in 20 ohm, 10 ohm, 50 ohm and 80 ohm, 40 ohm. So in these four resistance, we will try to find the value of current. So let's see one by one. In this 20 ohm, if you see the mesh current I1 is flowing like this. So current in 20 ohm would be in this direction. Similarly, in 10 ohm, this I2 is current flowing like this. So the current of direction of current in 10 ohm would be like this and the value would be I2. Similarly, if we talk about this 40 ohm, in 40 ohm, this I2 current is again flowing like this in this mesh. So the direction of I2 is this and we will put I2 over here. Now let's talk about the last resistance 50 ohm. In 50 ohm, we have two current, one I1 which is coming from mesh 1 and one I2 which is coming from mesh 2. So if I want to see the overall contribution in this 50 ohm, so I can say that I1 which is going down and I2 which is going up. So the net current would be I1 minus I2 which is going down. If I take upward, then the value of the current would be I2 minus I1 and both are possible. Students can take any one. But I am taking here the current in 50 ohm is flowing downwards and I1 minus I2. So this is my third step. Now let's go for the step 4. From branch currents, which are shown by these arrows, at every resistance, show the polarity. Now the next step would be to show the polarities at every resistance. So what is the meaning of the polarity? Polarity means the flow of the current which is always from higher potential to lower potential. So if current is flowing like this, So we will consider this terminal as a higher potential terminal and this one as a lower terminal potential. So higher potential terminal we will represent by plus sign, and the lower terminal, lower potential terminal we will represent by negative sign. Or in other words, we can say the head of this arrow will be mentioned by negative sign and the tail of this arrow will be mentioned by positive sign. Let's see one by one. So for this arrow, you can see the head is representing by negative sign and tail is represented by plus sign. Similarly for this, plus for tail, plus the head minus. Similarly for this, the tail with plus, head with minus. Similarly for last, tail is with plus and head with minus. So in this way, we have the polarity of all the resist across all the resistance. And for the voltage source, no need to show because it is already shown over there. Okay, so now in this way, we know the polarity of each element in this circuit. So this step 4 is done. So let's go for the step 5. What is step 5? Step 5 is to write the KBL for mesh. So see, take mesh 1 and apply the KBL and take mesh 2 and apply the KBL. So if we see the KBL, so KBL is for mesh 1 is 20 I1 plus 50 I1 minus I2 minus 50 equals to 0. So this is what the voltage drop in every element must be 0. So if you see for mesh 1, we have three elements: 20 ohm resistance, 50 ohm resistance and 50 volt voltage source. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the voltage drop at every element, the sum of the voltage drop at every element should be 0. So this is your KBL, Kirchhoff's voltage law, which we are showing for mesh 1. Similarly, for mesh 2, we are showing with 4 elements: 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the KBL for the second mesh. But the question is how we are writing these expressions. So the understanding of this is also very important. So for this, we'll do it step by step. So let's see. This is our mesh 1. So I'm writing it in mesh 1 like this. And this is my mesh 2. So I'll consider mesh 1 first and then I will consider the mesh 2. Let's see the mesh 1. In mesh 1, we have the resistance. I'm moving from this point. I'm going like this. Then I'm going down. Then I'm going here. Then I'm finally reaching to this point. So I'll start from this point and will reach to this point. Once I start moving from this point, I have first 20 ohm resistance. The voltage across 20 ohm resistance would be 20 I1. So this 20 I1 I am writing here. And as I am moving from this side to this side, means from positive side to negative side in this resistance, so I will use the positive sign over here. Okay, so you can see it again. So this 20 I1 is coming here from this resistance. Now second, again you reach to this point. Now next you will go to this point. Now you have the 50 ohm resistance, and in this 50 ohm resistance the value of the current is I1 minus I2. So voltage drop will be 50 times I1 minus I2, and you are moving from plus to minus sign. So what you will write? You will write plus 50 to times I1 minus I2. For this, now as you are moving from this side to this side, and when you go here, so you have the third element which is a voltage source, and as you are moving from negative to positive side, so the value would be negative of 50, so minus 50, so that you are putting from here to here. So let's see again how this equation is written. So first element, second element, third element. So first element value is 20 I1 plus the second element value is this, and third element value is this. So these all three we will add and final value will be 0. So that would be our first KVL equation. Now let's see the same thing with circuit the mesh 2, in which we have 10 ohm 80 volt, 40 ohm and 50 ohm, 4 elements. So first contribution from 10 ohm will be 10I2. Why it is positive? Because we are moving from this point to this point. So plus 2 minus we are moving. So we are putting plus 10I2. Now we are moving from this point to this point. So we are moving from minus to plus, and the value of the voltage is 80. So the value should be minus 80. In third step, you see 40 ohm resistance with the current I2, and we are again moving from positive to negative. So plus 40 I2 will come here. Next, you are moving from this point to this point. So resistance is 50. The current is I1 minus I2, and we are moving from minus to plus. So this means the minus sign with 50 times I1 minus I2 will come here. So again, the sum of all four voltage drops should be 0. So in this way, we can get the KVL from mesh 1 and from mesh 2. Now you have two currents, I1 and I2, and two equations. You can solve these two equations and you can get the value of current I1 and I2. So in step 6, we can solve these equations and can get the value of I1 and I2. This we can done by any method. If you see here, we can use programmable calculator also, the MATLAB codes for solving linear equation also, or solving it manually also. So if you see these two equations which we get in last slide, so this, if we are solving it, then we can accumulate I1 together, I2 together in both equations, and the first equation will look like this and second equation will look like this. If I try to write it in the matrix form, then this I can write like this. So this would be my matrix A and this would be my matrix B, and uh, the variable matrix is this one, I1, I2, the column matrix. So this matrix I can solve using MATLAB. So we have two method. One, the A inverse B. This formula I can use in MATLAB, or the second formula, lean solve A comma B. So if I write the code something like this, if you are familiar with MATLAB coding, then you can understand this code. So the matrix A we are writing in this way from this data. The matrix V we are writing from this data. And once we know the value of matrix A and matrix B, then we will put this formula I equals to inverse of A multiplied with V, which is this one. So I will get the value of current 2 and 1.8. The second method, I can use this formula len solve. So this len solve is a linear solve for this matrix method. So A comma V. So again, if I press the enter, I'll get the value same like before, 2 ampere and 1.8. So this means my I1 is 2 and I2 is 1.8. So I can write the answer. My I1 is 2 ampere, I2 is 1.8 ampere. This we can do directly using our programmable calculator, or direct manually uh, mathematical operations also. So finally we got the current in both the meshes. I1 which is 2 ampere, I2 is 1.828 ampere. This means for mesh 1 we have a current 2 ampere, and in mesh 2 we have a current 1.8 ampere. Now with this we know the value of current in this 20 ohm. We can find the voltage across this by multiplying this resistance with the current. Similarly here we can get the value of voltage and current. We can also get the value of voltage and current here. We can also get the voltage and current here. So in this way we can solve the circuit using mesh analysis. And this process which I told you through this video lecture, can be expanded to any complex circuit. So I hope the concept of mesh analysis is clear to you. Thank you so much for listening this video.